Welcome to Constituent Marking with Fred Long on Proof Text. And I'm back. And I know some of my ideas might seem out there or interesting, but I'm doing my best. I'm trying to pay attention to the text. These are hard texts. Paying attention to the grammar and also knowing the historical background of terms and use of terms and should inform our understanding of the text. So we have to pay attention to the grammar, but also the wording and understanding that these are ancient texts that are grounded in social cultural milieu that is different than our own milieu or context. Yeah. All right, and we're going to continue to think in that vein and to do this kind of hard work of paying attention to the Greek and the meaning and use of words. Ugar estin akatastasias o theos al erenes. All right, so that's the first part of verse 33. Okay, gar. I see a gar. I put a box around it. I always like to highlight them green because of my color coding of my Logos Bible software. As you may see in other videos of mine, conjunctions are in green. So there's something about them. I'm putting them in green that is satisfying to me. I'm at home. U is an adverb. So ugar. So u gets a dotted circle around it or a dotted box or something. Gar is boxed. Estin is third singular from imi. There is not. So something is not, and it's third singular. So now I'm looking for the subject. I see a o theos. So God is not something. So God is not what? Of rebellion. Akatastasias. God is not a God of disorder or rebellion. Now this, when I see a word like this, I am very curious. Okay, I'm very curious because it is unusual. I mean, this word is unusual. I don't even know. I guess I'm going to put it in purple highlight because it is unusual. Moreover, it's fronted. Akatastasias is fronted. So it's a genitive. It's a feminine genitive noun. That it's a noun that ends with alpha, iota, or rho, and therefore its endings in the singular are going to have alphas in it. So alpha endings, and that makes it kind of rough to recognize that this is genitive. But we do understand it as such also in context because you have Irenes. So Irenes is a correction, is a corrective statement. This Allah here is participating in a Allah construction, not this, but something else. And there we see in the correction, we see a genitive form of Irenes, which is also modifying God. So, wow, what's at stake here in the exercise and proper functioning of gifts and prophesying is an understanding of God, of who God is and what God is like. He is not a God of rebellion or disorder, but a God of peace. Big concept. Whereas stasia, whereas that is an unusual term, Irene is not so unusual, but it may be understood differently than we tend to understand the word peace. In the Greco-Roman world, peace was a political idea, social idea, and political. I mean, the Romans had a cult to the goddess Pax. Pax is represented on coins. There's an altar that Augustus made called the Ara Pacis. Pacis would be the genitive form, or actually the dative, the altar to peace. The Ara Pacis, Ara is altar. So the Ara Pacis was a very famous altar that Augustus made that depicted what peace looks like. The Romans were interested in the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. They were interested in the social order, maintaining the social order. So, I mean, when you have a term of rebellion matched with the idea of peace, my little Spider-Man radar goes up, and this is interesting because remember that Paul talks about uninitiated people or uninitiated or unbelievers coming into the congregation, and what are they hearing? What are they thinking is going on? If you're prophesying, it's one thing. God is truly in your midst. If you're speaking in tongues or languages, foreign languages, they're going to think that you're in a pagan frenzy. Okay, those are different kind of outlooks. And now Paul is wanting to ground his admonitions about prophets and the orderliness by way of reference to the nature of God, that God is not a God of rebellion, but a God of peace. Yeah. So very interesting. Now, some of this may make a little bit more sense in what follows, okay? Now, what follows is hard discourse because people debate whether these verses are even meant to be there. I think they do. I think they're meant to be there, but I'm gonna try to provide an alternative understanding based on the grammar, based on the sequence, and it begins with 33b. Os en pacis tis ecclesias ton aion. So as in, so here, the os is marking like a correspondence. As in, it means as, and then you have a prepositional phrase, which is in all the churches of the saints. So n takes the dative case, and you got some stress on the pas, inclusive scope. All the churches of the saints. Okay. So the of the saints, I think, is pretty clear. It's modifying the assemblies. This word ecclesias is also a political idea. So what's happening here is that we're getting birds of like feather flock together. So words of like feather flock together. So I'm intrigued that we're getting big ideas now relating to theology, relating to the people of God being an assembly. So an ecclesia was a political body, an assembly, and it was being used of associations, like voluntary groups that were meeting to talk. These groups were regulated, they were controlled, they were supposed to not be subversive to the government. There were limitations of how often they could meet and whether they could raise money, collect money. And Paul is obviously wanting these to meet regularly and to collect money. So that's very interesting to think about, right? He's going to be talking about that with the Corinthians at the end of the letter, this collection effort that he's having them participate in. Okay, so I'm just trying to pay attention to the language here. Something is happening right here that is really interesting to me. Now, I'm putting verse 33b, it's in brackets, but notice I've also indicated that there is some question whether this verse belongs with 33a or goes with verse 34. So we're going to have to look at that next time. There's some question what this verse is modifying. Is it explaining how God is not a God of rebellion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints? Or is this verse connected to what follows? And we'll have to consider that next time and what might be at stake there. Okay. All right. So that's all. I'll come back and we'll look at this verse next time. Hope that you found this helpful. And thanks for watching and listening. Look forward to having you watch, listen next time. Take care.